Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're cracking open a case file that completely redefines the very nature of confinement, deception, and justice. We are going to treat this incredibly chaotic narrative with the utmost gravity as we dive into the baffling investigation of the cardboard prison breakout. It's a wild tale of daring escapes, shifting identities, and evidence that seemingly defies the laws of reality itself.
All right, here's how this is going to go down. We'll start inside the cardboard prison, move on to the bizarre case of the cake, look into the innocent tool man, train up our robo-dog, and finally wrap things up with the Stardust robbery resolution. First up, inside the cardboard prison. So, life on the inside had a super rigid schedule. You've got step 1, gym time, or as the warden officially logged it, sport time. Then, step 2 is laundry time, and get this, they had a strictly enforced 5-minute limit. Talk about pressure. And finally, step 3, pizza time. Now this is where it gets wild. This predictable, carb-heavy routine totally lulled the guards into a false sense of security. Right after the pizza hit, our suspect pulled a sudden freeze maneuver on the guards, kicking off a highly coordinated escape. The whole schedule? Literally out the window in an instant.
Moving right along to part 2, the case of the cake. Okay, so this brings us to the actual crime scene out in the field, and honestly, it is completely bizarre. The lead detective arrives and is immediately hit with these reality-bending anomalies. First off, a disappearing car. Now, the suspect swears up and down it's not invisible, it just vanished, right? Then, out of nowhere, there's this weird, unexplained influx of fake cows replacing the real livestock. I mean, what? And to top it all off, a massive stash of fake gold left behind just to muddy the waters. So our detective isn't just chasing a standard fugitive here, they are up against a mastermind who's actively altering the very fabric of the environment to confuse the authorities.
And if you want a perfect example of just how mad this case gets, listen to this. The suspect actually claimed, "No, look, all the bags are cake. You see, it's cake. Definitely cake." The victims initially reported that their luggage was stolen, but the reality on the ground was way more sinister. The luggage hadn't just been taken, it had been meticulously replaced with heavily frosted pastries. It's a massive plot twist. We aren't just looking at petty theft anymore. We're dealing with high-level culinary forgery. Next up, Section 3, the innocent tool man.
So public pressure is really heating up over these bizarre thefts, and the police make a severe accusation, breaking into a house. But the suspect's defense? He says he was simply repairing a locker for a science project. Notice how fast this random bystander, who calls himself the tool man, gets targeted by an overly aggressive commander broadcasting that a panda is wanted. Despite the tool man having a totally rock-solid, verifiable alibi with his science project, he just gets swept up in the dragnet. He's aggressively told to stand still and thrown right into a holding cell. It is your classic rush to judgment. And from inside the lockup, the toolman drops this incredibly impassioned plea. You can't judge a person by how they look. It's a really sobering moment. It actually forces the detective to step back, reevaluate their own biases, and collect entirely new evidence. They realize they've got the wrong guy. The real culprit, the master of disguise, fake cows, and cake luggage, is still out there, laughing at them.
Which brings us to part 4, training the robo-dog.
Okay, so the detective knows they absolutely cannot do this solo. They need a partner. But finding the right one, total trial and error. Day 1, they try a human partner. But the poor guy gets completely incapacitated by the intense heat out in the field. He just couldn't handle the pressure. Day 2, they pivot and bring in a real dog. The dog jumped, did a decent job initially, but ultimately, it just didn't work out. It lacked discipline. So that leads us to day 3. They literally had to unbox a robo-dog. It was designed from the ground up to be the ultimate infallible tactical asset. To keep up with a criminal this cunning, you need cold, hard tech.
But they couldn't just throw the bot onto the harsh streets right away. It had a strict deployment protocol. Step 1, unboxing the robo-dog. Step 2 required a rigorous obstacle course to test its agility and physical limits. Step 3 involved programming and mastering the rollover command for tactical evasion. And finally, step 4, 3, 2, 1, go. They run this mechanical canine through a high-stakes gauntlet just to make sure it is 100% field ready for the impending showdown. There's zero room for error anymore. And finally, Section 5, the Stardust robbery resolution. All right, this is the climax of our investigation. Suddenly, the police radio cracks to life with this massive emergency alert. Attention, Stardust was robbed. Who will catch him?
It's a brazen daylight attack on the local Stardust coffee shop. This is it. The stakes couldn't be higher. The newly trained RoboDog is pushed into its very first real-world deployment. The suspect is on the move, the human partners have already failed, and it all comes down to the training we just witnessed.
And guess what? The RoboDog delivers flawlessly. With a decisive freeze command, the mechanical canine successfully halts the suspect right in their tracks, officially closing this bizarre case file once and for all. The human detective is so thoroughly impressed by the unit's unyielding performance that they officially crown the RoboDog with the prestigious title of Best Partner 2024. The cardboard prison escapee is finally back in custody, completely outsmarted by calculating machinery.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a lingering thought to ponder. What actually happens when our everyday reality becomes as unpredictable as a cardboard prison? I mean, in a world where solid luggage can secretly just be a cake, where cows are fake, and where justice relies on a newly unboxed robot dog, how solid is the evidence right in front of your own eyes? Seriously, keep questioning the world around you, because as this case file proves, things are definitely not always what they seem. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.